Do you ever feel like the perfect wash is out of reach? In today's video, we're solving that problem. So behind me, I have my daily driver, which is my Toyota Land Cruiser. One of the things that I've struggled with the most when it comes to the wash process, specifically on the Land Cruiser, is the height. I am vertically challenged, so when it comes to reaching the roof, the windshield, or even the hood, I have difficulty reaching those center areas. And that's really where this tool kind of came into play. This is the Mitt on a stick. So if you order Mitt on a stick from the rag company, you can expect to get all of these parts. Now, starting with the actual mitt itself, if you have ever utilized any of the rag company's cyclone mitts or cyclone pads, this microfiber is very similar. This is very safe and effective for the actual wash process. This is what ultimately goes on the head of your mitt on a stick. So the head itself, though, is composed of a hard plastic and a foam, designed specifically so that as you put pressure on the vehicle surface during the contact wash, it's actually going to contour to the surface of your vehicle. You're not putting a hard plastic directly on your vehicle surface. So if you accidentally smack the side of your car, you don't have to worry about putting a ding or a dent. The other cool piece about this head is the swivel effect. So when this is plugged into your actual stick, you can either free swivel, meaning as you go up and down or at a different angle, it's just going to move freely. Or let's say you're working on a motorhome and you've got a lot of surface area and you want to keep it the same angle, you can actually tighten this and now you can't move it. So now that we've talked about the head and the mitt, now the very first thing in this assembly process is to pair your mitt with your head. And in order to do so, you need to keep in mind that the mitt has snaps. It's got snaps both located on the bottom here for the female side, and you've got your male side, which has a little bit of length for the reach. Now, one thing that we're gonna do is we're actually going to put our head in here first, and then we're gonna tuck this side last, so that way we can snap these together. You wanna make sure that this doesn't get caught in the actual mitt, because then you can't connect the stick. So step one, we've got that side in. Step two, I'm going to bring the other side over, and now we're gonna snap these on each side. So there's snap one, there's snap two, and we're ready to assemble the actual stick components. When it comes to assembling the stick, there are definitely multiple ways that you can do this. Obviously, we know that this is going to be the end of the stick because of the plastic handle or loop, but the key component is going to be this part of the stick. This part of the stick has a slight angle for connecting to the head. And the other thing too is it's got these holes pre-drilled, so all you have to do is pop this into place. So for instance, the very first thing that I'm gonna focus on is getting this part in, clicks in. So now we have our first piece of the stick onto the head.
Are you subscribed to the Rag Company YouTube channel? Because if you're not, you should be. 90% of the people who are subscribed to this channel have cleaner cars. You do the math. I didn't.
We're gonna assemble this in a couple of different ways. Let's say hypothetically you wanna use this to reach a hood, or you want to reach a roof of a sedan, but you don't necessarily need an extra 17 inches. What you can do is you can do directly to the end of the handle, and now you have a shortened version of Mitt on a stick, making this easy for if you're, again, doing a small vehicle. This would be fantastic, a good configuration. But if you're like me and you're doing a minivan or a Land Cruiser, you're gonna wanna add the extra 17 inches, and that's really easy to do. Basically, unscrew off, screw back on, and one thing that I like to do once it's screwed on is I like to adjust the sleeve, making sure that I have no visible sign of aluminum in between, making sure that this piece is fully covered. Now, the last piece I'm gonna add is the actual tip. Now I've got a full 55 inches, which is the 3-post length for Mitt on a stick. Here's where it gets even more interesting. Let's say you're even more vertically challenged, or you're working on an even larger vehicle, whether that's an RV, even a semi truck, or a really, really jacked up truck. This is where you can get even more vertical play if you choose to. We offer the option right out of the gate to buy a 3 or 4 pole option meaning you can have another 17 inches, giving you a grand total of 72 inches. And this will be a 4-pole option. Without further ado, we should just jump into the wash so you can actually see this in action. We're back to the 3-pole system and we've got the vehicle foamed up. What we're gonna do is a 2-bucket method, and we're gonna start from top to bottom and clean the Land Cruiser. So what's cool is the pad will fit in any 5-gallon bucket, and what I like to do in the wash process is I start from the top, and honestly, I just do kind of an up and down motion, nice and gentle. Come back over here, dunk it in my rinse bucket, come back to my soap bucket, and continue the process. So as I stated at the very beginning, this doesn't really change your overall wash process. What it does is it just makes it for an easier wash process. And the nice thing is you don't have to bend over. Now, one thing I do is I actually leave the lowers for very last, just in case. It's just something that I personally like to do. Look how easy that is. It just glides across the hood, or you can work it in small areas just depending on your choosing. And check this out. This is the part that I would never be able to do. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come over and I'm going to do my lowers. Check that out. I'm not even having to work. This is so simple. And the thing is, again, 2-bucket method, and I'm not even struggling here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna go get a mitt so you guys can see. I'm gonna show you what I struggle with. There's a couple ways that I do this. One, I can pull a stool, which again, the stool is not bad, but the issue is look at this. Whoa. Super freaking sketchy. That's why I don't like using the stool. It is really effective once you're up there and you're sturdy, but when you're trying to reach different areas, this thing sliding on you, not ideal. Then the other option is, so I got my pad, and I do have a step right here. So I have a step right here. Even if I am extremely careful in this process and I'm washing the roof, I'm starting to get wet on my pants, and that's something I don't like. Or the potential of my belt buckle hitting the glass or the side. It's just not ideal. So again, you have those 2 different options compared to literally doing this. In fact, I'm able to reach with the 3-post, again, this is the 55-inch length, from one side of the vehicle to the other, making it extremely easy. That basically concludes the wash process, at least the contact wash. The next thing we need to do is get to drying. But before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit about what to do after this process. So after this process, your mitt on a stick is now saturated and wet. So it's pretty easy. You reverse the process that we talked about where you unsnap each side and voila, your mitt comes off. As I would suggest with the Cyclone mitt or Cyclone wash pad from the Rag Company, you would ideally put this in the wash with rags to riches to make sure that you get any of the contamination out of this. That way it's ready to go for the next wash. But if you're not going right into the wash, one thing that you could do is bring it out, and you can do a hang dry before putting it in the dryer. Ideally though, when it comes to the wash process, you want to intermix this with rags to riches. This will help rejuvenate the microfiber and get it reset and ready to go for the next contact wash. So ready to go. For right now, I'm just going to let ours sit and dry on the edge of the bucket. The next thing I want to talk about regarding the head of mitt on a stick is this cool tab function right here. So what I've got is a 12x12 gauntlet by the Rag Company, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to flip this so the lighter side is facing down, meaning this side is the side that's going to be in contact with the paint surface. I like to do this just to ensure that if I left anything behind, it's readily available, it shows me. But the cool thing about this head is on each corner, it's got these plastic tabs. So you take the 12x12 and you have to work it in. So I'm just using my finger and I'm pushing it in. I then can pull out my pole and reattach it. Very simple. So it's just push in, push these tabs in, lock in, and we're good to dry. One thing that I do want to note in this process is this does not change the fact that you are still gonna need a drying towel to get the other areas. I still highly suggest that, or if you're one that likes to blow dry. But the big thing that this adds as far as your ability is getting those hard to reach areas. It allows me to reach in areas that I know I can't reach. This is certainly not going to replace the process of me drying the vehicle with a towel, but it's going to add more functionality and again, giving me the most effective result. So I can reach basically as far over as a little bit past this washer right here, but I know if I come to this side, that's as far as I can get. So this whole area right here, I either have to get up on a tire or I have to get up on a running board and dry it. When it comes to the windshield, it's the same thing. As far as reach goes, that's as far as I can get when it comes to this whole section. So I've got basically middle of the hood and middle of the windshield that's still not dry. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this and I'm not pushing hard, literally just drag drying. Look at that. Again, just drag drying. Same thing with the windshield. I come up here, just drag dry. And we're done. So this concludes today's wash with Mitt on a stick. Again, this is a fantastic tool that is not changing your wash process. It is making your wash process more efficient and more effective, allowing you to get into the hard to reach areas that you otherwise would struggle to get, like myself. And if you have a Mitt on a stick, let us know in the comments, what do you think about it? And if you don't have a Mitt on a stick, let us know as well. What would you use this for and how would you utilize this in your wash process, whether it's drying or the contact wash? Let us know. And as always, guys, if you like this video, make sure you give us a big thumbs up and subscribe down below for more videos right here at The Red Company.